So now I want to talk a little bit about the main function. So this is a mechanism for managing complexity in code, and it's inherited from other languages. Now, you do not need to use this mechanism in your Python programs, but certainly if you've used main function, which is hard-coded in a lot of more systematized languages like Java, you can use a similar concept in Python. So let me describe the way the main function works. So you have a main function from which your main program flow is executed. So from there, you're going to call your other functions, you're going to call other and import other modules. You're basically running your program from the main function line by line. And as a feature of the main function, there's going to be a special variable, name. And this variable is set to main if and only if you are executing from the main function from that file. So this variable name, if you were to print this variable name, it will print main if you're executing it, if you're printing that from the file you're just executing. But if you're printing it from another file, it will print the name of that other file. I know it might not be sinking in right now, but we're going to look at some practical examples. So this is an example of a main function. Now, it's a very brief one, but here's a function that's declared. Here's the main, and the main is going to use this other function. The sum is summation 1020. And at the bottom of the program, we're going to say if name double equals main, then run the main function. So if we're basically executing this very file and not calling it from some other file, then main is going to get executed. So in this case, the output will be as follows. So I'm going to get first plus second, 10 plus 20, the sum is 30. Okay, if that sounded a bit complicated, let's dig in and see it in code. And I'm pretty sure it's going to begin to make sense. So in this video, we're going to get to the bottom of name equals main and why we use if name double equals main. So to illustrate this, I have made two copies of the very first set of functions that we wrote. So one is functions, one is functions 2. As you can see, the two files are identical. And I just want to illustrate what happens if we import functions. So this name main has just got this, import functions. I'm going to run this. And there it is. And if we wrote functions 2, it would basically go ahead and run, all these files. And if we wrote function scope, then it would run rainfall, average rainfall, location New York. So if we just wrote functions scope. And this is pretty annoying because what if I just want to use some of these functions and then the testing code at the bottom, I have to run all that, and then that really is confusing, right? So this is where if name double equals to main comes in. So right now I'm going to do something special to functions 2 that's going to make that importing a whole lot easier. So here I'm going to write if underscore name double equals to quotation marks main. So only if name double equals main, only then am I going to run this. So check what happens now. Functions 2. Run it. Nothing. So I can go ahead and call a function from functions 2. So what are they? Surface area cuboid. So check this out. I can say functions 2 dot surface area cuboid. I don't know, 2, 3, 4. Well, I obviously have to print this. But I can use functions from that file, and it doesn't do that annoying thing. See? Calculates it, 52. And that was 11. Calculates another 48. So if I was using functions instead of functions 2, well, See, it would still calculate it at the end, but it would run all of this code, whereas if name equals main, it doesn't. So let me show you behind the scenes what's going on, right? So we're going to go into functions 2 here, and just one more time, prints 148. So in the first line of this program, you can print underscore name. And when I run it here, it's main. Well, if we go into functions 2 and just, put the very same line at the very, top of the program, print name in functions 2. And if we were to run functions 2, it would also say main. But check this out. If we run name main, so that's going to import functions 2, it's going to actually, in here, when it prints this, it's going to say functions 2. So the special name variable, when you're running a file, when I'm printing a name and running name main, the name of any file is set to main. The file that you're running, the name is set to main. The other files that it calls, the name is set to whatever that function is. So one more time, I'm going to copy and paste this statement inside each of these functions. So maybe I'm just going to go something like this. Function is from, and I'll put this in each of these functions. So it doesn't matter which one I call. Actually, the docstring should be the first line, best practice and all. Okay, so remember, now I'm going to call this, and it's going to print function is from functions 2, and then it's going to return 148. So I think now you can make sense of this special variable name and of why people in Python programs use if name double equals the main. 1, yes, it is a convention. 2, yes, you can get away without using it at all. But 3, it really helps you run a bunch of test code that doesn't affect all of the other files that are calling upon your module. And it really does sometimes make your life a lot simpler.